My wife cheated on me with our family photographer. I found explicit texts between them after months of suspicion. She begged for forgiveness, but the trust was gone. Now our marriage is over, and our daughter is caught in the middle. How do I move on from this betrayal? I never thought I'd be the kind of guy to post something like this on Reddit, but here I am. I need to get this off my chest, and I need to know if I'm the one screwing up here. This whole situation has turned my life upside down, and I'm still trying to make sense of it all. Let me start from the beginning. My wife, Claire, and I have been married for 8 years. We have a 6-year-old daughter, Lily. For the most part, our life together has been good, not perfect, but good. We've had our ups and downs like any other couple, but I always thought we were solid. At least I thought we were until a few months ago. It all started when we decided to get family photos taken. Claire had been talking about it for a while, saying we needed to capture these moments while Lily was still young. I agreed, so we started looking for a photographer. That's when Claire suggested Ethan. Ethan is a freelance photographer who's been gaining some popularity in our area. Claire had seen his work online and thought he'd be perfect for our family photos. I didn't think much of it at the time. I mean, why would I? He was just a photographer. We booked a session with him, and the first meeting went fine. Ethan was friendly, professional, and good with Lily. He even managed to get her to smile for the camera, which isn't always easy. Claire seemed happy with how things were going, so I didn't have any reason to be concerned. But then things started to change. After the first session, Ethan started showing up at our house more often. At first, it was just to drop off the photos or discuss the next session. But then it became more frequent. He'd come over for coffee, stay for dinner, and sometimes even hang out with Claire after I left for work. I didn't think much of it at first. Claire said they were just friends, and I trusted her. But then I started noticing little things. Claire would get texts at odd hours, and she'd quickly hide her phone when I walked into the room. She started spending more time on her appearance, even when we weren't going anywhere. And then there were the late-night work meetings that she said Ethan needed her help with. I tried to brush it off. I didn't want to be the jealous husband who accuses his wife of cheating without proof. But the more I thought about it, the more it didn't sit right with me. One night, I couldn't take it anymore. Claire had gone out for another work meeting with Ethan, and I decided to check her phone. I know, it's a violation of privacy, and I'm not proud of it. But I had to know. What I found shattered me. There were messages between Claire and Ethan that left no room for doubt. They weren't just friends. They were having an affair. The texts were explicit, and they'd been seeing each other for months. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. When Claire came home that night, I confronted her. First, she denied it. But when I showed her the messages, she broke down and admitted everything. She said she was sorry, that it was a mistake, and that she still loved me. But the damage was done. I was furious. I felt betrayed, humiliated, and heartbroken. How could she do this to me? To our family? We had a daughter together, for God's sake. Didn't that mean anything to her? The days that followed were a blur. We fought constantly. Claire begged for forgiveness, but I couldn't even look at her without feeling sick to my stomach. I moved into the guest room, and we started talking about separation. But it wasn't just about us. Lily was caught in the middle of all this. She didn't understand why Mommy and Daddy were fighting, and it broke my heart to see her so confused and upset. I tried to shield her from the worst of it, but kids are smarter than we give them credit for. She knew something was wrong. Meanwhile, Ethan was still in the picture. Claire claimed she had ended things with him, but I didn't believe her. How could I? The trust was gone. Every time she left the house, I wondered if she was really where she said she was. Every time her phone buzzed, I wondered if it was him. It didn't take long for our friends and family to find out. Claire's parents were devastated. They couldn't believe their daughter would do something like this. My parents were supportive, but they didn't know what to say. Some of our friends took my side, while others tried to stay neutral. A few even suggested that maybe I was partly to blame, that maybe I hadn't been there for Claire enough. That hurt more than I expected. Was I really the problem here? Had I been so caught up in work and other responsibilities that I'd neglected my wife? I started questioning everything. Maybe if I'd been more attentive, this wouldn't have happened. Maybe if I'd been a better husband, Claire wouldn't have felt the need to look elsewhere. But then I'd think about those messages, and the anger would come rushing back. No matter what mistakes I might have made, nothing justified what she did. She made the choice to cheat. She made the choice to betray me. We're in the process of getting a divorce now. It's messy, and it's painful, but I don't see any other way forward. I can't stay married to someone I don't trust. And as much as it kills me, I know this is going to affect Lily for the rest of her life. So, Reddit, I need to know. Am I the bad guy here? Am I being unreasonable for not being able to forgive Claire? Should I have tried harder to save our marriage? Or was I right to walk away? Update. The news since that event. It's been 6 months since I found out about Claire's affair with Ethan, and life has been complicated. I don't even know where to start, but I guess I'll just dive in. First, the divorce is final. It was messy, emotional, and exhausting, but it's done. Claire and I agreed on joint custody of Lily, which means she spends half the week with me and the other half with Claire. It's not ideal, but it's the best we could do for Lily. I didn't want to drag her through a nasty custody battle, and honestly, I didn't have the energy for it. Living apart from Lily has been one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. The house feels so empty without her laughter and constant chatter. I miss tucking her in at night and hearing her little voice say, "Good night, Daddy." But I'm trying to make the most of the time we have together. We've started new traditions like pizza and movie nights every Friday, and I've been taking her to the park more often. She seems to be adjusting okay, but I know this whole situation has been hard on her. She's asked me a few times why Mommy and Daddy don't live together anymore, and I still don't know how to answer that without breaking down. As for Claire, things between us are civil but distant. We mostly communicate through text, and only about Lily. I don't ask about her personal life, and she doesn't ask about mine. I've heard through mutual friends that she's still seeing Ethan, but I try not to think about it. Still hurts, though. Every time I see her, I'm reminded of what she did, and it's like reopening a wound that hasn't fully healed. Speaking of Ethan, I ran into him a couple of months ago. It was at a coffee shop near my office. I was waiting in line, and there he was, standing a few feet away. He didn't see me at first, but when he did, he looked like he'd seen a ghost. I didn't say anything to him. I just stared him down until he looked away and left. It was a small victory, but it felt good. Work has been my escape. I've thrown myself into my job, taking on extra projects and working longer hours. Keeps my mind off everything, but it's also exhausting. My boss has noticed and told me to take it easy, but I don't know how to slow down. If I stop working, I start thinking, and if I start thinking, I spiral. I've also started seeing a therapist. It was my sister's idea, and at first I was resistant. I didn't think I needed it. But after a particularly bad night where I found myself crying in the shower, I decided to give it a try. It's been helpful, I guess. My therapist has been helping me work through my anger and trust issues, but it's a slow process. I'm not sure I'll ever fully trust anyone again. Now, here's where things get even more complicated. Remember how I said Claire and I agreed on joint custody? Well, a new problem has come up. Claire wants to move. She got a job offer in another state, and she wants to take Lily with her. She says it's a great opportunity for her career, and she thinks it'll be good for Lily to have a fresh start. But I can't let that happen. I can't lose my daughter. When Claire told me about the move, I felt like the ground had been ripped out from under me. I tried to stay calm and reason with her, but she was adamant. She said she's already made up her mind and that she's willing to go to court if I don't agree. I don't want to drag Lily through a legal battle, but I also can't just let her take her away from me. I've been talking to a lawyer, and he says I have a good chance of fighting the move. But it's going to be expensive, and it's going to be ugly. I hate the thought of putting Lily through that, but I don't know what else to do. I feel like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. In the meantime, I've been trying to spend as much time with Lily as possible. I've been taking her to her favorite places, like the zoo and the ice cream shop, and I've been trying to create as many happy memories as I can. I don't know what's going to happen, but I want her to know that no matter what, I'll always be here for her. Claire's decision to move has also brought up a lot of old feelings. I'm angry all over again. Angry at her for putting me in this position, angry at myself for not being able to fix this, and angry at the whole situation. I thought things were starting to settle down, but now it feels like everything's falling apart again. I've been trying to stay positive, but it's hard. Some days, I feel like I'm just going through the motions, trying to keep it together for Lily's sake. Other days, I feel like I'm drowning. I don't know how much more of this I can take. So that's where I'm at. Divorced, fighting for custody of my daughter, and trying to pick up the pieces of my life. I don't know what's going to happen next, but I'm trying to take it one day at a time. I just hope that somehow things will get better.
Thanks for tuning in. Smash that like, subscribe, and dive into more juicy stories with me.